Today on the podcast, we're going to talk more on the fitness side of things for the clients in terms of goal setting and some of the things that we look at in terms of goal setting, how to do it, what are unhealthy goals, what are healthy goals. And I'm not talking necessarily in terms of we want to lower your blood pressure, we want to do this. I'm talking about healthy goals in the attainable sense, in the maintaining a long-term relationship with your fitness and your exercise, your activity. We're going to talk about what some pitfalls are in goals and maybe how we need to change the mindset, not just on the trainer aspect, but also the client aspect in terms of let's change our mindset for setting goals. This was all sort of triggered by a discussion I had over dinner with a couple friends of mine the other day. We were talking about goals. It was a brief discussion, but we were talking about goals, and I want to talk some more in detail about that goal setting with you guys today on the podcast. So we'll hit the intro and I'll be back after that. Don't go anywhere. Stop defending mediocrity in our profession. What is going on, everyone? Thanks for joining me on the podcast today. I am Dr. Krol, PT, physical therapist, and this is the Dr. Krol PT and Fitness podcast. You know the drill if you've listened to this before. You need to go down there. You need to hit that like. You need to hit that subscribe, hit that share. Talk about it on social media. Get other people talking about it. Send this podcast information out. This is how we get it growing. This is how we get people listening and involved and engaged in discussion about health and health prevention, how risk prevention and health, and health preservation, good focus on health. This is how we get this discussion going, is by sharing this. So make sure you do all that stuff down there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share. We're going to talk about goals and goal setting today, more on the fitness aspect. We're not talking the medical aspect in terms of therapy. We're talking the fitness aspect. So when someone comes into my door and I ask them, why are you here? What are you looking for? Why are you looking to hire me to help train you? And this is where we get into the goal setting. Now, I don't look at goals in terms of right or wrong or bad goals necessarily. What I tend to look at are goals that are either not attainable, unhealthy, or not setting the person up for long-term success. And that's what I'm always looking for, is long-term sustainable success. So one of the things we have to define right off the bat is the idea that health, fitness, and the state of your body is not something you attain one time and then you have it forever. It's not like a high school diploma where you get a high school diploma and that's it. You're a high school graduate for the rest of your life. You get a college degree, you're a college graduate the rest of your life. It doesn't get taken away, even if you're unable to pass the exams right now that got you that high school diploma or that college degree. It doesn't matter. You have the degree, you have it forever. With health, it's not that way. With body composition, it isn't that way. If you could run a 20-minute 5K 8 years ago and you haven't run since, you're probably unable to run a 20-minute 5K in your present state. If you were 135 pounds 8 years ago, that doesn't stick around forever. So a goal weight, a target weight, to me is usually not a long-term sustainable goal. To me, always, those goal weights, those target weights, those dress sizes, those pant sizes that people want to be into, those are either a short-term goal or they're just some sort of biomarker that we have to try to build a lifestyle around that will maintain that goal weight, if possible. But usually it's a matter of health that I'm looking for and long-term sustainability, more the mental side of things. So we're going to talk about that goal setting today. So before the intro, I was out at dinner with a few friends and we were talking about goals. And this was a very brief discussion. It was not in depth. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was just, we were talking about goal weights, and I brought up that I don't weigh my people. I haven't weighed my people in terms of the fitness side of things for years, because I only look at weight as a general health biomarker. I look at weight in terms of trends. Is your weight trending up or trending down unexpectedly? If it is, then I'm asking more questions, usually more on the medical end. Are you feeling tired, lethargic, whatever? Are you eating more? Are you less active? Why is it trending up or down? I only look at body mass index as a general risk indicator for people who are not active and not exercising. The more active you are, the more you exercise. In general, the more muscle mass you're going to have, which throws the effectiveness of BMI as a risk indicator way off. If you were to look at me, by BMI, I'm borderline obese, but if you saw me walking around, you wouldn't think, wow, that guy is really obese. So what are we looking at in terms of BMI? BMI is just a small indicator of health, risk issues if you're not exercising or not active. It's really good if you're pretty sedentary. But people often come in, they're like, I want to look a certain way. I want to have a certain goal weight. I want to lose 25 pounds. Okay, that's fine. Part of my job at that point is to help tailor their goals, because a lot of times these goals lead to an unhealthy relationship with your fitness and your exercise. You're constantly fighting the scale instead of constantly looking at, okay, do I feel better? Am I healthier? You're constantly saying, if I only lose 5 more pounds or 10 more pounds. And one of the things we were discussing over dinner was, when someone reaches their goal weight, they always move the scale a little bit more, like, just 5 more pounds. I'll be happy with just 5 more pounds. And then they get to that goal weight and they stop doing things that got them to that goal weight, meaning it's not going to sustain. They haven't transitioned usually to a sustainable lifestyle that's going to keep that goal weight, so the weight starts to creep back up. So weight in general is not something I really ever use as a guideline or a goal. You can use as a short-term goal. If you're competing in something, that's a completely different discussion. If you're trying to get down to 170 for, a tournament or a fight or something like that, that is a completely different discussion. But the general populace, I want to drop down to 120 pounds. I start becoming like a 3-year-old with this. Why? Why do you want to drop to 120 pounds? Well, I want to look a certain way. Okay, why? Again, what are we trying to get at? What is the real reason? And a lot of times it comes down to the more psychological factors. They don't have any self-confidence. They don't like the way they look. They have a bad self-image. And this leads to the second part of the goal setting, which I'm really not a huge fan of, is I want to look a certain way. So we talk about I want to weigh a certain amount, or I want to lose weight. I want to look a certain way. So we look at these two things, and here's the interesting thing I find. People start to make a body transformations, usually, again, not sustainable. It's not a sustainable eating pattern. It's not a sustainable exercise pattern. They start to gain the body that they would normally want, and they're not happy with it. I still have a little bit of fat here I want to lose. I still don't look right. I still don't have this. I still don't have that. They eventually fall off the wagon because it's not sustainable. They start to balloon back up. They start to put on unwanted weight. And then they'll post a picture online, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, of a year ago or 2 years ago, and they're saying, oh man, what I wouldn't give to look like that again. And I think to myself, I knew you when you looked like that, and you still weren't happy with it. So what do you tend to chase with weight loss as your goal or a goal weight and your appearance? They tend to be unattainable because they keep moving. It's like chasing a shadow. It moves with you. So the more your body changes, the more you're still finding flaws in it because you're being, hypercritical. And most of us are. We're hypercritical of ourselves. So what I always try to tell people is, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on coming to an equilibrium with a lifestyle that you're okay sustaining. And let's go to more of a health goal. How do I feel? How am I sleeping? How am I moving around? Can I play with my grandkids? Can I play with my kids on the floor? Can I play with my nieces and nephews? Can I go to do sporting activities? Do I no longer avoid activities? Can I go hiking? Can I work overhead in a ceiling on electrical stuff? Whatever the case may be, let's make these things more functional and health related versus appearance related. One of my colleagues is an occupational therapist, and she's been going into health coaching on the side, and she's been doing a great job working with people in sort of helping them manage some of their lifestyle issues in terms of their mental health, their psychological health. How do you gain compliance with healthy behaviors, whether it's adding activity to your day, drinking more water, identifying and taking proper supplementation if needed, eating better. What are the things you can do to engage in those healthy lifestyles. And one of the things she's not really talking about with people is, how do you get to this goal weight? How do you get to this appearance? No. Let's be healthy, and your body will get to the weight that it will need to be at in terms of optimizing. If everything else is okay, if there's no endocrine issues or hormonal issues that are interfering, no medical issues underneath, your body will optimize to a certain weight. She's not like, okay, at your height, 130 is the perfect weight you should be at. She's like, no. This is the pyramid of health that you need to engage in, and you need to get these things right. That goal, that weight will appear. Your body will change in terms of its appearance and its general weight. And don't worry about what that general weight is. If you're 140 pounds, but you're feeling good, you're moving well, you're sleeping well, your mental health is really good, that's a lot better than being 126 pounds, 14 pounds lighter, and you're not sleeping well, you're tired all the time, you're sluggish, you're irritable. Like, these things are not good. Your general health is suffering to achieve a weight that just is not attainable or not sustainable with the body, with the lifestyle that you're doing right now. I know a lot of people that are hyper vigilant about watching what they eat. They're watching every single calorie. They're measuring everything out, and some of them are doing okay with it. But others that I know are very unhealthy with it, and it's really bothering their mental health and their psychological health, which is influencing their sleep patterns, which is influencing how they're physically recovering, and their cortisol levels are higher, and other issues are going on, and they can't lose the weight because they're stressed. They're stressed with the eating, they're stressed with the lifestyle, and it's simply not sustainable. So I always try to tell people, try to put your general health first as a goal. Don't focus so much on weight. Don't focus so much on how you look. Focus more on, let me do things to be healthy and adopt a healthy lifestyle. And then all the other things will come as a side effect of that. I constantly talk about that. I've talked about that in an earlier video, that weight loss and body composition are a side effect of a healthy lifestyle. They shouldn't be the primary focus of your activity and exercise routine, unless you're in something like bodybuilding where you're training to look a certain way. Again, that's a completely different discussion. It's a completely small subset. You really should be focusing on health. To me, I don't think your exercise program is working very well if you can't get up and down off the floor, in your 40s. You're 30 and you're generally healthy from an orthopedic standpoint, and you can't get up and down from the floor. You're 40 years old and you can't sleep more than 2 hours a night. You're not recovering well. You're constantly stressed. To me, your activity and exercise program are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And what my colleague, the health coach, is more concerned with is not just your activity, your fitness, and your exercise. That's a component of wellness. She's looking at the entire wellness model: your mental health, your psychological health, your physical health, your spiritual health, your emotional health. This is what she's looking at as a whole. And being healthy, being stable with your lifestyle, where your body will maintain its appearance and its weight on its own, to me is a far better goal, and it's a far better mindset that's more sustainable long term than just chasing a goal weight, or just chasing the way you look in a certain outfit or a dress or a suit or on the beach. Those things are fine, but if you're not healthy, it doesn't really matter. So that's my little spiel on that. This is talking about goals and goal setting, and sort of, again, changing the mindset. I said very early on that I want to sort of hit the reset button on fitness in the United States. And part of that reset button is at least planning a goal and planning more of a lifestyle change instead of an end point. An end point can be a short-term goal. This is a short-term pit stop. If I'm taking a road trip across the country, well, I'm going to veer off of the I-90 here to go to this landmark. And it's a little bit of a detour, but I'm still going to remain on the 90 going west or going east. It doesn't matter. And that's kind of what I look at in terms of fitness. Hey, I want to be 120 pounds. Okay. That will be a short-term goal, but it's not going to be like, okay, have to be there in 3 weeks. No. I'd like to be around 120 pounds, because to me, 120 pounds should be reflective of this lifestyle that I'm willing to engage in. Okay, you engage in this lifestyle, you end up at 135 pounds. Well, are you healthy? Are you happy? Are you et cetera, the things I've already talked about? If that's the case, then you're doing okay. So focus your goals on health, focus your goals on lifestyle and things that are sustainable long term. Find activities that you enjoy, find healthy foods that you enjoy eating, find ways to get water into your diet, find ways to improve your sleeping patterns, find ways to do all these things from a health standpoint that will make you healthier, and you generally will end up happier as well. So this is Dr. Lee Krol for the Dr. Krol PT and Fitness Podcast. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, you need to hit that like, subscribe, share, put it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, spread it around. If you didn't like it, leave some comments, talk about things you didn't like in a respectful manner is all I ever ask. So leave those comments, let me know what you like. Let's find some talking points and discussion points. But this is Dr. Lee Krol, PT, signing off, and I will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.